Murder is always a painful and sad thing, and there are things that are unspeakable. But among them, the incidents where young children become victims are really painful, and feelings that want to exhaust all the words well up. Especially the incidents where one harms their own child or neglects their upbringing to the point of death make my stomach boil with anger, wondering why they gave birth in the first place. Even recently, a young child was left alone at home for 8 days. There was an incident where he ended up dying as a result of playing with him. He was just a child who died. He was just a 3-year-old child, unable to do anything on his own while his stomach was empty. He was waiting anxiously for his mother's return, gradually becoming unable to move, and died without being able to ask anyone for help. I can't help but shed tears just imagining the loneliness and hunger he must have felt. I've strayed a bit from the main topic, but I hope that no more young children will become victims like this. I ask this with all my heart. The Akita serial child murder case. On April 10, 2006 in Fujisato Town, Yamamoto District, Akita Prefecture, Ayaka Yamaoka was murdered. The 9-year-old was found dead in the Fujihara River, about 10 kilometers from her home. The story continues from there. About a month later, on May 18th, a boy who lived 2 houses away from Ayaka's home was found dead in the Yonagura River, about 12 kilometers away. The boy who died was Yoneyama. At the time, 7-year-old Ken was strangled and there were signs of struggle. Police established an investigation headquarters suspecting a likely homicide. The results of the autopsy determined that the cause of death was suffocation due to strangulation. In a small rural town, 2 children died near their homes within a short period. Both victims were found in the river, suggesting the same offender committed the crimes. The criminal was arrested about 2 months after Ayaka's incident following the investigation. Suzuka Yamasaki, the suspect, was 33 years old. As the name suggests, this person was Ayaka-chan's real mother. The case attracted a lot of public attention at the time of its occurrence, and there were voices of surprise and even voices saying, "I thought so," when the mother was arrested. The background to this was her daughter's actions. It's very sad that there is always a certain cold gaze towards the family when a child is lost or dies. Please think before you say something in public. Now let's get into the details of the case. Ayaka-chan was found at 1840 on April 9th, 2006, the day before. Near their home, the woman and Ayaka-chan were watching the river from a bridge. Ayaka-chan wanted to stay and see the fish, which irritated the woman. In a sudden fit, she pushed Ayaka-chan off the bridge and made no rescue attempts afterward. At 1945, the woman informed the police that Ayaka-chan was missing. Ayaka-chan was found in the Fujigawa River, 10 kilometers from her home. The police initially investigated the incident as both a potential crime and accident. However, they quickly concluded it was an accident and closed the case. Despite this, Ayaka-chan's mother distributed flyers in the area seeking information about her daughter's disappearance. She expressed her distrust of the police and showed a determined attitude to relentlessly pursue the criminal. The fact that the autopsy results of Ayaka-chan were judged to have no criminal elements also fueled her actions from then on. About a month later, on May 17th at 15:45, around 15:00 on May 17th, Goken-kun failed to meet his friend as promised. Concerned, his friend went to Goken-kun's house and discovered he wasn't home. Goken-kun was actually at his girlfriend's seeking something from Ayaka's mementos. His girlfriend, hearing him, invited Goken-kun inside. Watching him closely, she wondered about Ayaka's absence and Goken-kun's cheerfulness. She believed that Ayaka-chan's death was not accidental but rather a suicide, she continued. She thought that this was her only chance to draw attention to her claim that it was an incident caused by someone else, and she was determined to do so. After strangling Goken-kun to death, he went to the river just like Ayaka-chan did. At 3 p.m. on the 18th, a man jogging discovered him on the banks of the Yonejima River, and as mentioned earlier, it was clear that Goken-kun was a serial killer. The police set up an investigation headquarters and proceeded with the investigation as a murder case, but it took almost no time to identify the suspect. At first, there were many voices of sympathy for her, but her overbearing behavior and attitude gradually made the residents living nearby and the police suspicious. As they conducted multiple interrogations, inconsistencies began to appear. Her statements are inconsistent. The police eventually treat her as a key person of interest and close in on her. 23:00 on June 4th. Despite no evidence, investigators arrested her on suspicion of involvement in Goken-kun's death and searched her house. The analysis found something seemingly belonging to Goken-kun in her home. Body fluids and bloodstains were detected, providing strong evidence. When questioned about this, On June 6, she confessed to being involved in Goken-kun's murder. She was rearrested on June 25th on suspicion of murdering him. She was arrested, and on July 14th it was revealed that she was involved in Ayaka-chan's death. On July 18th, she was indicted on suspicion of murdering Ayaka-chan. On September 12th, 2007, the first public trial of this case was held at the Akita District Court. The prosecution asserted she intended to kill the two, and the truth couldn't be ignored. They argued coercion was unacceptable. The prosecution demanded the death penalty, while the defense argued that she was not responsible due to her unstable mental state. On March 19, 2008, the Akita District Court ruled that the killing of the two was intentional, but not premeditated. The court recognized her criminal responsibility at the time of the murder and sentenced her to life imprisonment. Both the prosecution and the defense appealed this decision, moving the case to the appellate court. March 25, 2009. The Sendai High Court dismissed both parties' appeals, upholding the Akita District Court's decision. The defense will appeal, but it will be withdrawn on May 19th. Her life sentence was confirmed. At the time of the verdict in the Akita District Court, she took off her sandals and knelt down to the parents of the victim, saying, "I'm sorry for taking your precious child away. I have no excuse," and she cried. I want to believe that there is no lie in her actions, but in the diary she wrote in the second half, there is almost no sense of guilt, and she keeps silent about her own convenient questions, which is hard to accept honestly. The accident's atmosphere and shock are overwhelming, and I'm not alone in feeling unable to cope. She took the lives of young children without hesitation. This is cruel and unforgivable. I judge it as a crime. It is something that can never be allowed. What is she, who is still serving in a prison in the Tohoku region, thinking? Is there a time when she sincerely apologizes to Saika-chan and Goken-kun and thinks that she didn't explain enough? In order not to produce victims like Saika-chan and Goken-kun again, we engrave this incident in our hearts. I believe that each and every one of us must strive to prevent recurrence. I sincerely pray for Saika-chan and Goken-kun's happiness. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching.